I made a superhero game that lets you be the villain. Usually in these superhero games, you're trying to save the city from getting destroyed, but in my game, you'll be playing as the villain, trying to cause as much destruction as possible. Stay to the end to see how I made it. So I wanted this game to have some really satisfying movement, so the first thing I did was create this bean with glasses to test with. And then I got a little bit of help from ChatGPT to make this movement script, and I changed some of the values to make it feel more like a superhero. Then I liked how this flying was feeling, but as a supervillain, I knew you'd want to go fast to escape situations. So I created this faster flying mode where you'll be able to move way faster and fly away, but it would be a little harder to control up close. I also decided to make it so the camera would move slower to make it look like you're moving even faster. Then I set up some buildings that you're going to be able to fly through, and I played around with it for a little bit, and I actually really love how this movement is feeling. Now that we have the movement for the supervillain, we actually need a villain. I opened up Blockbench and I started modeling. Now I'm gonna be honest, I don't really make a lot of stuff in 3D, so I was a little worried when I was modeling this, and I got a basic human character shape down, and I was pretty happy with it. And then it came to the texturing, and since I wanted to have a bit of a low poly style, I created this supervillain in a black suit with an X across his chest. I know it doesn't look great, but just trust me because it comes together later. Then I added him into Unity and I gave him some bones, and now we needed two animations. I created this one where he's upright for the hovering animation, and then I created this one where he is flat for the faster flying animation. Then I went to test out in game, and it looked way better than I even imagined, and it worked really well with the flying, especially because you can see which direction you're going. Next, I wanted to start working on some super abilities. The first ability that came to mind for a superhero was laser eyes. I started by making this crosshair that will show where you're aiming, and I set it up so whenever you're in hover mode, you'll be able to use the left click and your laser eyes will shoot. This was actually a little difficult to make because your eyes were shooting out of a different position than your head. The way I solved this was by creating a shoot position that's positioned on the character's head, and it will look wherever your camera is aiming, making sure it's always accurate. Next, I felt like the aiming was a little bit underwhelming, so I created this fire particle system that'll show up when your laser eyes hit something. Then I went to test it out, and it's super satisfying, especially because you're able to switch between your flying and shooting mode quickly, and now I can imagine this is going to lead to some fun gameplay down the road. That's most of the stuff for the player, so the next thing I wanted to start working on was the map. I wanted this game to take place in a big city, so the first thing I did was model these two buildings, and then I made some different sprites so they'd have variety. After that, I started laying them out in a city shape, and I also gave them random properties so no two buildings would have the same size or the same sprite. Now, just after that change, I can already see the game starting to take shape. After that, I wanted to start introducing a little bit of the gameplay. So the way this game is going to work is you're going to be a supervillain destroying buildings and creating havoc in the city, but while that's happening, there are going to be missiles trying to stop you and get you out of the air. So, with that game loop in mind, I got to work on the buildings getting destroyed. The first thing I did was create this shaking effect that would happen when you're shooting a building with your lasers, and then I gave it some health so it could get destroyed. After that, I felt like it should have a big impact when it got destroyed, so I made this particle system of rubble falling to the ground. Now you're able to use your laser eyes to destroy the city. Okay, so up to this point, you're a supervillain destroying everything you see, but there's nothing there to stop you. My solution for this was rockets. I started by first making this rocket model in Blockbench, and then I added it to my game. First, I created this fire particle system shooting out of the back of the rocket so you can more easily see where it's coming from. Then I created this particle system that'll show up when you shoot the rocket. Now, the way the rocket is going to work is it'll be flying, doing circles in the air, waiting for its time to strike. Then, on a random timer, it'll lock onto you and start flying towards you. Now, you need to shoot it down before it hits you, or you can run away from it with your fast flying ability to create some space. Then, when it gets destroyed, it will respawn somewhere else. Now, you'll need to manage between destroying the buildings and shooting the rockets and running away from them. Then, to make the game harder the longer you play for, I made it so they'll start to get more health each time you destroy one. I also made it so the rockets could destroy the buildings, but it will also destroy the rocket. Now, everything was working good, but it's really frustrating when a rocket could come up from behind you and you had no idea it was there. The way I decided to fix this was by creating this exclamation mark that shows up behind your head. It's almost like Spidey senses how you can feel it coming from behind you. Now, with that change, the game was really coming together and I loved how everything was feeling. The game was so satisfying, but the only issue was that nothing would happen when the rockets hit you, so that was the next thing I had to work on. I wanted the player to only have one life, so I created this game over screen that shows up when you get hit. I used this comic book background and I found this comic font and I threw it on there, and you might notice that it says the final score. So I also created this score counter that stays up in the top corner of the screen and goes up by 50 with each building you destroy. Then to finish it off, if you get a score over 4,500, the game will end and show you the game over screen when you win. Now with everything complete, let's try the game. Alright, here we go, dropping into the city. Just gonna start by destroying some of these buildings here, getting a head start on them all before the rockets can start to catch up to me. Already, oh, there's one coming. That's why I love that exclamation mark. It's a great warning. Blowing up the rockets coming at me. Uh-oh, see if we can move it in the right way. There we go. Didn't even need to shoot that one. Oh, this one's scaring me. Whoa! They're coming. Whoa, 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 whoa! That was a close call. Holy moly. We're running, we're flying, we're safe. Almost got a score of 1,000 here. Doing some 360s to destroy these rockets. Here we go. Make sure we're getting out of the way of those. On the run. Making sure this one behind me doesn't catch up. Uh-oh, they're all starting to bunch up here. Uh-oh. They're about to have too much health. We gotta just run now, I think. Uh-oh. Getting out of there. Shoot. No! We gotta run, create some distance, and we turn around, and now is when we try and destroy him again. There we go, we're good. Might beat the game on this run. We're going all the way here. Overall, this was a really fun project. I don't usually make 3D games, so this one was a challenge, but it was really fun to make. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and go check out another one. Thank you so much for watching.